What's up, everyone? My name is Ricky Perez. Welcome to episode 1 of the PR podcast. I will be your host. Yes, this is episode number 1. I am here by myself, sitting here in my kitchen with my dog. No co-host, no guest appearances or anything today, but I'm ripping a page out of the fitness realm and, we're just gonna get started, okay? We're just gonna, put one step forward. You gotta start your process somewhere. And today's the day. This is day number 1. This is episode number 1 of the PR podcast. That's what I'm calling it for right now. It might change, whatever. The name's kind of not that important, but welcome to episode 1 of the PR podcast. So again, if you guys do not know me, my name is Ricky. I am the owner of PR Fitness Training. We have one of the fastest growing fitness apps. I have nothing to sell you, and this is very important. I make these videos, I make this podcast, I make all the content I make on social media because I see way too many people working harder and not smarter in fitness, and it is a very miserable place to be. But if you learn anything from the first 30 seconds of this podcast, these podcasts are designed to help you understand what you need to do to reach your goal in fitness, because too many people are spinning their tires, working way harder and not smarter, and it's just awful. It's just, I've been there in the past and it's not a fun place to be, and it's just not a good time. So, my sole purpose is to help my clients understand, to help you understand what needs to be done to start seeing results in fitness, to start moving the needle, okay? So, I thought that would be a great place to start for the first episode of the PR podcast, is me just simply breaking down what do I mean by working harder and not smarter. I'm going to be saying it in every single one of my intros, so it's important that you understand what I mean. Once you grasp an understanding of what I am talking about, it's going to help you a ton on your fitness journey, because right now you're probably doing a lot of things that are just, quite frankly, a waste of time. So let's break it down. Let's define it for you. I define working harder and not smarter as, in terms of fitness, to being anything fitness or nutrition related that you're doing with the hopes of helping you get closer to your goal, that is not actually getting you closer to your goal, or it has a very low return on investment in getting you closer to your goal. Again, there are things you're doing right now, you're doing on a daily basis, and I'll get into a little bit of this here in a second, but things you're doing right now that you're like, oh, this is gonna give me a six-pack, or this is gonna help me lose weight, this is gonna help me gain muscle, that is not helping you gain muscle or lose weight or get a six-pack or whatever your goal is. There's a lot of them that I see on a daily basis, either through my clients that I've seen, or just working in the gym setting for 6 years. There's a lot of things that I'm just like, what are you doing that for? Why are you doing that? Start working smarter and not harder. So before I dive into some of those examples, let me just give you an example that I know everyone will understand. And that is, if my goal is to be the world's strongest man, which is probably not your goal, that's actually not my goal, just for example's sake, stick with me. If your goal is to be the world's strongest man and you're gonna do that by playing tennis every day, what are your chances of becoming the world's strongest man? Probably slim to none. And actually, I can tell you they're 0. And why is that? It's because you're using the wrong mode to get to your goal. Like, no one in their right mind would be like, I'm gonna be world's strongest man, I'm gonna play tennis every single day. The two just don't correlate, okay? That's just, playing tennis is not gonna lead you to be the world's strongest man. Now, you might be like, Ricky, that's a dumb example. Of course, that's not gonna happen, but it is relevant, okay? Let me just extrapolate that over to weight loss. There's a lot of things that people are doing that they're failing on their weight loss journey because their mode to get there is not getting them to weight loss, okay? And let me just, throw some more context into this. The people that I work with, and most of the people, that I'm around, my friends, my family, my clients, most people's goal is to just simply look better in the mirror. And that's a body composition goal, okay? People just want to look better naked, okay? That is the simple fact of it. Now, I would say that's about 95% of my clients. I do have some performance-based clients, but most people just want to look better in the mirror. That's my current goal right now. I used to have a performance goal in the past, which I'll dive into, maybe on this podcast, maybe on a different one. My goal now is a body composition goal. And what do I mean by body composition? What I mean is people want to have a leaner, more athletic look. They want to have, a lean muscle mass. They want to have less body fat. They want to move better. They want to look stronger, and they, overall look better in the mirror. Now, there is a correct way to do that. There's a way that you could do that, but it's much harder and it's much less likely that you're going to get there. And then there's just ways where you're just not going to get there. So I kind of want to break those down for you. These are some common mistakes. So hopefully these can touch home. The most common mistake I see when people are trying to lose weight or look better in the mirror is they just simply think they need to do a bunch of cardio, okay? No matter what it is. Common one's running and biking, but like no matter what it is, they'll say like, hey, Ricky, I have a weight loss goal. I've been running every day, or I've been biking every day, or I've been whatever, insert cardio exercise every single day. Now, is that bad? Is that detrimental to your weight loss goal? No, absolutely not. You need to burn calories. Burning calories is important to lose weight. But is it the fastest and most effective way to get you to your goal? No, and especially if that's all you're doing. If you're not strength training, if you're not have some type of diet in place, the chances of you just strictly burning a raw mass amount of calories, as many as you can, to lose weight is slim to none, okay? And that's why you see a lot of people frustrated, like, hey, I run every single day and I still look like this. I do this every single day and I still look like this. The important things that you need to know is if you want to lose weight, if you want to change how you look in the mirror, you're gonna need to add muscle mass. And I don't mean like being a huge, big buff bodybuilder. I mean gaining muscle mass, okay? A lot of people just have no muscle mass because they're not lifting weights. You need to have some type of muscle mass, which is only achieved by lifting weights. You need to be in a caloric deficit. This is the non-negotiable for weight loss. So if you want to lose weight, you need to be consuming less calories than you're eating on a daily basis. That's non-negotiable, okay? If you're eating the same amount of calories, you won't lose weight. If you're eating more calories than you're burning, you won't lose weight. So let's get that through our brain. That is non-negotiable. That is not my hot take. That is not my opinion. That is the cold hard facts. It's thermogenics. Those are the two big body composition changers, is gaining lean muscle mass, which is achieved through lifting weights, and being in a caloric deficit, okay? That's gonna help you lose body fat, help you lose weight. Now, if you do those two things correctly, you may or may not need to burn extra calories, which would be achieved through cardio. Ideally, you have a good regimen of lifting weights, you're eating the correct amount of calories per day, and you are doing the correct amount of cardio per day. And that might mean for some people doing 10 minutes a day. That might mean for some people doing no cardio a day. That might mean for some people doing 30 minutes a day. It's very dependent on who you are and what your goals are. But the two important things which you need to focus the majority of your time and effort in is consistently weight training and consistently eating in a caloric deficit on a daily basis. This can get real complicated. This is very individual based, but let me just throw out, a couple numbers that you might be able to use right now, apply to your life, and help you moving forward here. I tell all my clients, I would like to see you lift, strength train a minimum of 3 days per week, ideally 4 to 5 days per week, but I understand everyone's got a million things going on. Lifting weights a minimum of 3 days per week, and eating in a 25% caloric deficit is gonna get you to your weight loss goal pretty fast, but at a minimum, you need to be eating in about a 10% caloric deficit. I'm just gonna use 2,000 calories as an example because it's on all the labels, but like if you're supposed to eat 2,000 calories a day, a 10% caloric deficit would be, 1,800 calories a day, okay? That would be like at a minimum. Ideally, I would want you in a 25% caloric deficit. So these are 3 takeaways that I want you to apply to help start moving yourself forward and getting closer to your goal, especially if your goal is weight loss. Number 1 is you need to track your calories. You need to know how many calories you're eating on a daily basis. People come up to me all the time. They're like, Ricky, I run X amount of miles per day. I do this per day. I lift 10 times a day. I do whatever, and I'm not losing weight. If you're not losing weight, it means you are not eating less calories than you are burning. That's the end of the story. I don't care how much you're running. I don't care how many times a week you're lifting. Whatever you're doing is not burning more calories than you are consuming. And now let's think about it here. The easier thing to do is what? Is the easier thing to do work out more per day, or is the easier thing to do to eat less calories? For 90% of the people, the easier thing to do is to eat less calories, okay? If you're working out for an hour a day is enough time. You don't need to work out an hour and a half a day. The smarter thing to do would be, let's keep it at 45 minutes to an hour per day, and let's eat less calories. How are we gonna eat less calories? Not by just saying we're eating less calories, but by tracking our calories and showing me or showing whoever, showing yourself that you are eating in a caloric deficit, okay? That is what is important, because too many people think, oh, I'm not losing weight, I need to do more. No, most of the time we probably need to do the same, we just need to eat less, okay? That is the answer for 90% of people. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is, again, you need to strength train on a daily or on a weekly basis, on a consistent basis. Why are we strength training? We're not just strength training to say we strength train. We're not just strength training because like, oh, it looks cool throwing weights around. We strength train because it forces our body composition to change. It makes us add muscle mass. When you correctly overload your muscles, you're gonna be gaining muscle, which results in you looking better. It also results in you burning more calories throughout the day, which results in losing body fat. I think people don't fully understand the benefits of strength training, especially how it changes your body composition. People just like say, oh, strength training, lifting weights is here, yoga, weight train, or running, biking, like, oh, they're all the same thing. No, strength training is like the gold standard of changing your body composition, okay? If you want to lose weight, if you want to have a higher muscle mass and lower body fat, you need to strength train. And I use this example in the past. People think it's funny, but really, pretty much everybody, unless you are training to be a jockey, should be strength training, okay? Like there is, even if you have performance-based goals, there's some way that you should be strength training to get that performance-based goal. I don't want to get too off topic, but regardless if your goal is to gain weight or lose weight, you're going to be lifting weights. It is very, very important. I would say the most important thing is eating in a caloric deficit, or calories in, calories out, because if your goal is weight loss and you're not in a deficit, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're not going to lose weight. It's very important that you get that down first. Second is you need to consistently lift weights. And then the third mistake is you just not understanding 1 and 2, essentially. Like you just have the wrong mindset. And that's what I see a lot is people are like, oh, I'm doing this and this and this. And I'm just thinking, listen, you just don't fully understand what you're doing, because if you did, you wouldn't be doing this. You don't fully understand the importance of tracking your calories, because if you did, you would track your calories every single day. Why? Because it would get you to your goal super, super fast. But you, for whatever reason, you poo-poo the nutrition part, and you want to eat pizza every night and drink alcohol every night, and that's most people's problem. You're working way harder, not smarter. Like, just think, a lot of people are willing to take an hour and a half out of their day to do whatever they do in the gym. Just say you run. They're willing to be miserable for 60 plus minutes a day, just running, and not seeing any results, but they won't take, 10 total minutes out of their entire day to track what they're eating. It's a very simple solution, and there's just way too many people just like not taking it serious, and then that's why you're not getting results, because you're playing tennis to become the world's strongest man, okay? It's just not gonna work. I could talk about this for, 100 hours, obviously, so hopefully, I don't sound too repetitive, but that is how important it is. And, this is the main thing I want you to take out of this video. In other, in the future videos and future podcasts, I'm gonna dive in on more on strength training, more on nutrition, more on, more details of what you should be applying to your everyday life to get you to see results. That's basically what I wanted to cover in this podcast. Just understand that I just hate to see it, okay? And I hate, I've gone through it in the past. I'll just give you my example because everyone wants to know my example is, I've never been overweight or, super out of shape or anything, but my specific example is, for those of you that don't know, I ran cross country and track at Grand Valley in college, and that was my performance-based goal. My goal was to be as fast as I possibly could. Now I graduate, I transition outside of college. Now I no longer have the goal to be as fast as I possibly can. For a while I kept running, but my goals changed from being as fast as I possibly could to me just caring about my body composition, okay? I wanted to look good in the mirror. I wanted to have higher muscle mass, less body fat, and for the amount of time I was putting in running every single day, an hour plus, I would think to myself, what the heck? I should look so much better for the amount I'm running. Like for the amount of actual time that I am exercising on a daily basis, I should look super good. Now, what did you just learn? Those two don't correlate to body composition, okay? So you can run as much as you want. If you are not strength training and you are not eating correctly, you are not going to look better in the mirror. You're not going to lose weight. You're not going to gain muscle mass. Why? Because running does not help you gain muscle mass. That's basically my story is like, hey, I transitioned to being a trainer. I started learning all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I was still running a lot, and I just came to the day where I was like, what the heck am I doing? I'm not gonna do all this running because this is not moving me closer to my goal. I'm working way harder and not smarter. So then I basically flip-flopped it, focus on my nutrition, focus on strength training 5 to 6 days a week, and boom, the results just took off, okay? And that's the number one thing I try to get through with my clients, because that's the number one mistake, as I mentioned, especially people coming in to work with me, either one-on-one or online. Most of the time like, hey, what are you doing right now? And they're like, hey, I'm going in and I run X amount of days per week, or I bike X amount of days per week, and I'm trying to lose weight, but I can't. And obviously the answer is very simple to me. It's not simple to you, and that's why I'm trying to help you understand. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the PR podcast. Again, I wanted to break down the meaning behind my intro, where I say I want people to stop working harder and start working smarter. I want people to start working smarter and not harder, okay? And that's basically, hopefully this episode allowed you to understand what I'm saying by that. There's a correct way to go about things. There's an incorrect way to go about things. Most people are doing the incorrect way to go about things, because if you look around, there's a lot of people struggling with either their weight or struggling with getting in shape, whatever your goal is. They're struggling to get to their goals. I'm here to help you get to your goals. I'll help you to build confidence by understanding what needs to be done to start making progress. So hope you guys enjoyed the first podcast. Again, I'll be making as many podcasts as I can. If you guys have any recommendations for people that you would either want me to link up with and make a podcast with or make a video with, whether it's fitness related or not, or if they're a fitness person or not, let me know. I'd be happy to sit down and make a podcast with anybody. But again, thank you guys for taking the time to listen or watch this podcast. You guys have a great rest of your day. And again, we're working on working smarter and not harder in fitness. Let's get to those goals. Let's stop spinning the tires and let's start moving forward. Again, my name is Ricky Perez. Thank you again for watching. Peace.